So, you know, I don't know what else to do to help people during this other than adjust the heck out of them and talk to them and try to talk them off the proverbial cliff, right? So we have a new set of circumstances here that we are not normally equipped to deal with. A lot of the people who are dealing with homeschooling right now are kind of freaking out, especially if you have younger kids, because a lot of it is you really have to be involved. And and the teachers are sympathetic, but they have a job to do, and they have to make sure that they get every student to the next grade. And and as parents, we have an obligation to try to teach our kids as much as we can. And it's kind of interesting, as a whole, what the learning experience will be with the parent versus, this teacher, that teacher. And there might be something good that comes out of this as an understanding of how our children learn and what it is to be a teacher and the necessity of parents to be maybe more involved than we are, because we put a lot of pressure on our teachers to do a lot. That's obvious because of how strained our society is right now with all of our kids home from school. So so it's a new reality. And what that always makes me think about is, like, how long am I going to let things bother me? How long am I going to, be knocked off my spot? That's what I call it. And I thought that might be a good talk today about dealing with adverse information and how we can better recover and manage our state during a stressful time, an already stressful time, by not creating more stress. And that has a lot to do with the ability of the mind to create a fictive thinking type of situation where we create fictions about information that we're given. And that unfortunately causes people more stress than the actual event usually. 80% of what we worry about never happens. I think we're kind of past that 80% now, right? A little bit. But essentially, most of the things we worry about never happen and are never going to happen. And, you can be as vigilant as you want about information, which I try to be. I try to be like an information hawk. Like, I try to be like the first with Patriots news on Facebook and stuff like that. I don't know why. It's like a hobby, right? Who cares? But it's like a hobby, but the simple fact of the matter is that, I see a lot of people not responding quick enough to the real situation that's going on versus what they're afraid of. And that's a normal thing. That's a normal thing for us as a species. It might be why we are the preeminent species of human that survived, right? But the truth is that, well, not the truth, but the way I see it is we have this opportunity to respond one way or another, and both ways are a choice. And playing the blame game, whether it be you're anti-Trump, you're anti-Obama, you're anti-Bush 1, Bush 2, Hillary, whatever, whoever you're anti, whoever you're blaming for this, at this point, who's to blame doesn't matter. I'm not saying this because I support one or the other. What I'm saying is, what good is it, to do, it was Jack Nicholson who I think screamed at Greg Kinnear in As Good As It Gets and says, I'm drowning over here and you're describing the water. And that's what I feel a lot of this is that instead of throwing life preservers to each other, and helping people out and get through this, we're more willing to look at the water and say, hey, the way you're treading water there, that's not gonna work for much longer. I'm holding this life preserver over here, yeah, I could throw it to you, but you're treading water wrong, so, right? And I get it. I get it. I look, I look at people that I know and I see them spinning out of control sometimes, and I wonder why. Why are we doing this? And conversely, we have all these people who are so angry at the people blaming this political person, okay, that they're willing to clash online, and they're not really going to change anything. If anything, we've learned from the last 3 years is the left is the left, the right is the right, the middle doesn't know what the hell's going on half the time, and we are constantly in this ideological war that serves no one, that serves no greater good, because the only thing that matters right now is the fact that we have a problem. We are all drowning, sort of, right? Not figuratively. We're not really drowning, but we are in trouble. And a lot of us, instead of throwing the life preserver or the roll of toilet paper, we have to our compatriots in this, okay? We are telling them how badly they live their lives to get to this position. And that's just my opinion. And I'm not trying to call anybody out, because I watch the threads and I see it's not just one person or two people. It's almost as pervasive as a coronavirus, right? You know, and I'm not an expert on viruses, but just so you know, coronaviruses, I think, are what caused the common cold. This one is a particularly sticky one, and it's not good. But I'm not trying to downplay the importance of what's going on. But so we all have some coronavirus around us at all time. And that's why the Lysol can, it's not some conspiracy, says it kills the coronaviruses, because coronaviruses have been with us ever since we, stood upright, in the savannas of Africa. So, not my point here. My point is, we can all do a better job of making sure that we don't play the blame game and we don't play the who's right, who's wrong game, because ultimately, neither of us are right, neither of us are wrong, and all that matters is what we believe. And our beliefs are that. They are our beliefs. And the fact that we all feel like, because we have a platform to express them, okay, is true. We do have a right. But at the same time, I have a right to do X, but X doesn't really help society. X sort of just makes society better. So I choose not to do X for this particular moment. And that's a choice that you can make, because like not shaking hands, like not being around big groups and stuff like that, okay, we can make a choice to let this other sort of societal virus that sort of cripples us, right? It really, like, look at what happens all the time on the news and stuff like that. That's why, I've started watching the news for the first time in a long time, because I needed information. And let's face it, what we're getting elsewhere is not really helpful. But my point is that just because you have the right to do X doesn't mean you have to exercise that right at the cost of Y. And the why for everybody should be, why the hell aren't we all trying to get along better, in the immortal words of Rodney King? What is going on that makes you think that it's important at this moment in time? There'll be plenty of blame pie to go around in August and September. I'm sure we'll find out stuff about this we didn't know, and we'll all be shocked, okay? But what good is it now to be drowning with everybody else and criticizing their technique in treading water? And what good is it for those of us that stand on the boat watching those drown to not throw the life preserver, to not take the cushions off the seat and throw them to the person until we can get back with the boat to pick them up? So my getting knocked off my spot theory is, I try not to let any bad news affect me for more than 5 to 15 minutes. Now, I'm sure, like I said, my wife will will attest that that's not always the case, right? But if you have a goal on how long it takes you to grieve or to be angry, then letting go, which is a choice, is something that's built into your scheme. A lot like a lot of us are making lists for our kids about how the day's going to go and how organized we're going to be and all of that, which I'm really proud of my family because of the way that the kids and my wife pulled that all together in very little time and are willing to, mess with it to make it more perfect and stuff like that. But my goal is to not be angry for more than 5 to 15 minutes and just let it go after that and try to live as happily as I can, even though I remember I don't stew. And my hope with this video is one thing, is if you're angry, you may have a right to be, and that's not for me to decide. And if you're afraid, right there with you. I understand your fear. I have no answers for you about how to deal with anything other than the fact that you make decisions about how your conscious mind reacts to this situation, and your decisions affect your health, your family's health, and society's health, because we have this great platform of social media where we can spew whatever anger we have. So it's okay to be angry, but how long are you going to be angry for? Because I know people who've been angry since 2016, right? You know who I'm talking about. And I know people who before that were angry since 2012, or 2008, when there was another ideological change in the White House. So my advice is there'll be plenty of time to blame anybody and everybody when everybody's healthy and safe. But having these dividing lines right now that don't really make any difference, because as far as I'm concerned, most politicians, they're just like NASCAR, and they should have, I'm stealing this from somebody, I don't remember who, but they should have like the corporations on their sleeves that they're supporting, right? So either ideology doesn't make a lot of sense to be so all in that you're willing to let people drown because of theirs. And that's just not the way that I want to live my life. And that's not the way I know most of us, if we think about it, want to live our lives. So I'm hoping that if this video reaches you, that you'll stop blaming the other people on that side of the aisle or this side of the aisle, whatever it is, okay? And you'll start remembering that we are a bunch of dumb monkeys. And the only way we're going to get out of this is together, okay? Whether we like the green bananas or the yellow bananas. So be a good monkey and be kind to the rest of our group here, because ultimately, we are all we have. And I hope that that no matter what happens over the next coming days, that you will remember that you can decide how you react to this, and you can decide who you want to be during this. And I really appreciate you listening, and hope it wasn't too long. I do these things sort of off the cuff when I got a lot of feedback telling me to keep doing them, and I just want to do what I can to help people. I really do. Still open so far. Still cleaning the tables like a crazy person, still monitoring symptoms of patients, staff, and whatever else we have going on. So, you'll know where I'll be.